Well, hello! Welcome to Drawing with Fire. I'm Valarie, your neighborhood pyrography artist, and today we are going to do a still life working on basic shading and some textures. I did upload this photo to Facebook group, Drawing with Fire, and the link's down in the description. So if you want to either burn along, which I guess it's a little late now, or if you want to watch the live now and then do it with the replay, that is definitely available for you.
You're a little off center.
I'm a little off center. Well, how is everybody doing today? Hi Eve, Paul, Grace, Michael Ann. I think we got everybody.
I think so.
Okay, so I was trying to decide. I went ahead and I went with a smaller piece because I'm hoping to get it done in this live. We'll see. I'm trying to get this squared away. So we have a fabric box, a glass ink bottle, a fake leather sketchbook, and a feather with some metal. And that's where we're going to get going. This is just a small basswood round from, I even kept the label, and watch it be backwards as soon as I put it up. This is a ArtMinds basswood round from Michaels.
It is backwards.
Oh, well, I can't get it to unbackwards. I don't know what's going on.
Well, maybe it is. I don't know. No, it's definitely backwards.
It's definitely backwards? Yeah. Okay, so for me, I have a color reference. I have a sepia reference because I just wanted to see how it would look on the wood, kind of. And then I also have a black and white reference somewhere. Oh. I have a half of a black and white so that I can see better as to the shading, because if you look in the photo, the sketchbook is not completely black, even though it's a black sketchbook. There's darker and lighter areas, and we need to pay attention to that in order to get our contrast right. Same with the ink bottle. There is a bunch of white highlight because that's how glass is, but there's also blue ink in here which doesn't transfer right, and my lines are a little squiggly because of course I waited to the last minute to transfer this, like 15 minutes ago. So this photo will work. We'll get started. I think I'm gonna start, let's see here, I'm gonna start with the Optima 1. The which shader is this? This one is the, not that one. I'm not sure. Is it really Wednesday?
Mm-hmm.
Feels like Monday. No, I didn't force it to be backwards, but it's just fighting me. Let's see here. Alright, I'm not going to start off like full-on black because then I have no room to wiggle if I need to darken something or keep it where it's at. So I guess we'll start here on the sketchbook. Is it close enough? Do I need to zoom? Now I'm not going to outline this, and it did start off darker than I expected, even though I tested. Luckily, this is a shadow line, so we're okay. I sanded this board 220, 320, and 400, but I can still feel the grain. It kind of fought me a little bit with the sander.
We have Maymay in chat.
Hi, Maymay.
She says this is going to be so pretty.
Oh, thank you. I actually had another still life that I will probably do for myself, but hubby here did point out that this was supposed to be simple, and sometimes I get a little Too detailed?
Yeah, sometimes.
Be nice. In fact, I can pop up the picture of what my still life will look like. I'll put that up here. That's a lot more detailed, but hopefully that was all long enough. Need to teach you how to do the transitions. So,
Well, I'm learning editing, so.
I know. I can definitely feel the grain, especially since it's really tight right here in the center, and it's kind of pulling my pen. Even though I sanded, it's gonna happen. So now I'm gonna have to try to get it even. And that's really a matter of going back and forth over it, because if you notice, it's, I'll zoom in a little bit, it's not burning the normal, let's get you in here.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm not going to say normal, basswood, right here where it's kind of heat residing from the pen, the bottom of the pen, the wood is more black than brown. And that's just how basswood burns.
Oh. May loves the natural wood.
I do too, May. Though I almost did this on watercolor paper, but I'm hoping, if I can be quick enough, to add white highlights to this to really show how the white can pop out and make things look more realistic. Yeah, so this is not burning even, and I'm going between like 3.75 and 4. Now that I've burned here, though, I can take off my line so that I know how straight it actually is. Because I do notice I'm off here, and I either need to shade up into the box or just make the box shorter, or not as tall. Oops.
I get it.
That stinks. Alright.
You're throwing things again.
I didn't throw it, it fell. And there was also another conversation I wanted to have with you guys today. I don't get on Facebook too awfully much, but I do try at least a couple of times a week to get on there, which I forgot to post the live again. Oops. Anyway, and I was in one of the Pyrography groups. I am not going to name anybody because I'm not interested in embarrassing or calling anybody out, but I do think it's an important conversation. And as I switch pens, I think, because how the grain is, I think I'm going to go over to the Burn-Master so I can get all these cords untangled.
Eve has a question. Do you want to finish your thought, or do you...
Let's go ahead and do the question, because then...
Okay. When you burn, do you have to wait to let it cool before erasing? Like having to wait for ink to dry before erasing?
The board cools off very quickly. I've actually never paid attention to that.
It's a good question, though.
It is.
You wouldn't want your eraser to melt.
Especially since it's just the white rubber eraser.
Yeah.
Let's see here. This is going to be a big tip for the area I'm working, but I'll only use a part of it. So I've switched over to the Burn-Master, and I am just shy of 4.
So why did you switch to Burn-Master?
I didn't like how that tip was working on the
so
board.
So it's just a tip.
Yeah,
okay.
Not that it's a bad tip, it's just how this grain is.
Yeah.
I'm thinking a bigger tip will grab less, hopefully.
Okay. I understand that.
Hopefully. That's the thought, anyway. So on this group, somebody was posting about another professional artist, a pyrographer, who does beautiful work. I would say that... wow, I got a burn way over here to keep it on camera. That her and I are... well, blob. At similar levels. Anyway, I did print out this comment because it really, I wouldn't say it bothered me as in I took offense to it for me because I honestly don't care. I know that sounds bad, but I'm comfortable.
Well, you have to give it context.
Yes.
Because they don't know why.
And I'm going to get there.
Okay.
I'm comfortable where I'm at in my skills and still learning and doing what I can to make it better. This bothered me for new people who are just starting out to burning. And so this way this goes is somebody was posting about this professional pyrographer and how much they love their work. And this person popped a comment in asking whether the lady pyrographer had taken her own photos. And since I want to keep burning while this is being discussed, can you read the second comment down, please?
The second one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, it is very well done. I will be even more impressed if she freehands her work. I'm a believer in complete ownership of one's work. I'm not sure I could ever feel comfortable tracing a photo and then calling it my work, simply because I burned it in wood. This is just my own opinion and convictions, of course.
Which I appreciate the person having their own convictions. And I almost commented on this because there's a lot to say, but I didn't want it to come off catty or bitchy because that's not what I wanted. So I didn't comment. I wanted to address it during the live, and I'll make a video on this. There is nothing wrong, nor does it make it any less art or any less yours if you transfer from a photograph. Now, I would highly recommend that you use your own photograph, but even if you're using a royalty photograph to burn a piece, in the end, it is still yours. And if you can read the next comment.
Oh. Okay. Next comment. I have a similar feeling that many people want to have their photos reproduced in a wood-burn medium. In this sense, I view myself as a wood-burning technician. It's kind of like the difference between doing a ballet class and, I don't know, it's cut off. And working.
I believe it's learning the techniques.
Ah, okay.
So in other words, the other person was agreeing with the original comment, implying that if you just go off of the picture, that you're just a technician. And again, I highly disagree with this. The masters, Da Vinci and Leonardo and anybody else you can think of, used transfer and tracing to get their outlines onto the base of whatever material they were using, and they're considered masters. Based on that person's comment, that would imply that anyone who doesn't straight freehand, which when you're transferring a photo, at least when I'm transferring a photo, I'm just trying to get my basic lines, and I'm going to have to burn this up to even it out more. My basic lines to get my perspective right. And then everything else, I guess, would be considered freehand. But that doesn't take away from the person who maybe doesn't feel comfortable enough yet to not put the picture away and keep going. The picture will never, the photo will never, the burning will never be absolutely the same as the photograph. It just will not happen. Even if you used a laser, it still would not be exactly like the photo. So if you need to trace your photo, it is completely legitimate and acceptable to do so. I just didn't, and this person has only burned a couple of pieces, and she only did hers supposedly free-handed. But I will say there's something to using a photo.
Can I comment on that?
Please.
Sure. Well, before I do, Eve just yelled chopper. I don't know what that means.
Chopper. I don't either.
Chopper. I just met her. No? Okay. Now, there's different variations of this all throughout history, and I think it's a good analogy would be like, well, you can ride a bike, but not everybody can ride a bike, using no hands, and so it's sort of a misconception about freehanding, that it is some sort of higher skill level, and it is a more technical thing if you can freehand accurately, but it doesn't take away from any of the other methods, because when you look at it, if somebody has a photographic memory and they're able to freehand because their skill is there, then in the end it's no different than making a mechanical reproduction. But the difference in between making a mechanical reproduction or becoming a air quote technician, as opposed to being an artist, is the interaction between the person and what they're working on. It's what that individual person brings to the project, in terms of technique and skill and feeling, their interpretation of it, whether it's freehand or traced or projected, it doesn't matter. It's what that person brings that makes it art or not art. And I think that's a huge misconception in art circles, that it's some sort of like holy grail to be able to freehand something accurately, or even better, the next step above that is I can reproduce this freehand with no reference at all. And there's people that aspire to that, I want to draw whoever, this celebrity or this person, this family member, and I'm going to do it from memory and I'm going to do it freehand. Well, you can do that, ultimately, but it may take you, a long time to do that without using a reference or freehand. The tools that we have in terms of projection or tracing or, overlays or anything like that is just, it's reducing the amount of time that you have, and that's why gridding is taught in school. That's why the camera obscura was used early on during the Renaissance, and I think even before, to transfer something onto a wall or onto whatever surface that they're painting on. Albert Dürer used grids, and and there's all kinds of different variations of reproducing an image accurately from life or one surface to another, and they're all legitimate. But there is this misconception that that it's somehow better if you can freehand, like you're true master, air quotes. But
it takes more than being able to freehand to be a master.
Yeah. But in the end, it's like you could freehand something and it could be technical. Like I said, if you had a photographic memory and you're just you practiced for years freehanding, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm not taking away from.
But in the end, what's going to differentiate your work from anybody else's or from a laser cut or whatever is what you bring to it, and that is going to be. And the reason why those masters are masters, or why they're considered masters, is because of what they brought. It's not how they got there. I don't think anybody would argue, that Albrecht Dürer or Leonardo, weren't masters, because that's established. But nobody would tell them to their face. I can't imagine somebody, from today walking up to one of those guys and saying, "Hey, did you freehand this?" Well, no, I used the grid. Well, why you suck? You're not a master. You're not a master. Ugh, I'm disappointed. It's what those painters and artists, what they actually brought into the work that makes a difference. The end result, how they got there. It's a conglomerate of many things, but it's not about the replication of something.
Yeah. Well, and like Lisa Lockery says, tracing helps to improve your drawing skills.
Yeah. Well, and it's, again, it's why gridding in particular is taught at university, and it's perfectly accepted. And the reason why that it's taught is because it's cheap and it's accessible to everybody.
Yeah.
And it's been used for hundreds of years. The gritty, it's been used. In fact, a lot of the painters, they would carry portable grids, with them, and set them up when they were doing, whatever that they were trying to paint, and all it does is it helps you refine, make sure that your work is accurate, because at the end of the day, and everybody knows this, is that if you're freehanding something and you get done with it, or you think you're done with it, and then you really look at it and then it's like off, and then you've got to go back and fix it and erase, and any of those systems, like gridding or transparencies or anything like that, they help reduce the mistakes.
Well, especially in pyrography, because you can't just sit and erase if you've messed up.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny, because if you look at the earliest form of art that so many of us are come in contact with, is coloring books. And if you look at any two children's coloring books, they're not going to be the same. The children have made different choices, and whether to color inside the lines or whether not to, whether the people are skin colored or whether they're purple, and it's what that child brings to that coloring book that makes it, unique and interesting. And it's a moot point,
I was just, the main thing was frustrated because I didn't want new burners to read that, and or anybody wanting to do art to read something like that and then give up because they didn't feel they could do that.
Well, and that's kind of elitism, and it is a problem, because if you have somebody who's wants to be an artist, and they're like, okay, well, I want to do this, and this is what I'm comfortable with, then that's a huge deterrent for somebody to say, oh no, you can't do that because, you know, you don't have the skill. And so that person says, oh geez, if I want to be legitimate, then I've got to, you know, I've got to practice and practice so that I can do these freehand, you know, otherwise I'll never be good enough. And in the process, you know, they're sabotaging themselves. So there's a lot of people who may be wonderful artists, but they're, you know, deterred. They're turned away by elitism.
Well, elitism and their own lack of self-confidence.
Yeah.
You know, and that's mainly what I wanted to keep from happening.
Yeah. So, and Paul makes a good comment. He says lots of professional artists these days need to trace for purpose of speed and so they can do enough. And that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Because if somebody says, hey, I want you to, you know, I want you to paint my child or paint my, you know, whatever dog or paint my car, you know, a portrait of something.
Quickly and accurately.
You know, they, in today's society, most people don't want to wait a month for a piece of art. You know, they want it now. And they want it quickly, and and especially if you're in a business that does high turnaround, you know, you need to be able to do those things quickly, and you need to have a way. And I think,
sorry guys,
I think ultimately, you know, it's because of some of those things that you know, grids and projections and things were developed, because, you know, when you're working for a pope and you're going to do a you know, a commission for the pope or some king, and he wants an accurate picture, you know, he wants an accurate representation, you can't screw that up.
Yeah.
Because in those days, you know, if the king, if royalty didn't like what you did or felt that they slighted you in some way,
You lost a body
then
part.
yeah, you might not come back from that period, you know. And if you screwed up with the church, you know, you could be ostracized and you know, you be blacklisted, you know. So they had to come up with ways to be, you know, make sure that they're being accurate and you know, so that they could be correct and not lose their heads. In chat, Dorothy
Hi,
Smith
Dorothy.
is here, and she said sorry that she's missed the last 2 weeks. We came through the Hurricane Irma with no damage.
Oh, good.
I lost power for days, just getting life back on track. So everybody's happy to have Dorothy back and that she's well.
Glad you're safe.
That's an interesting comment from Paul. Paul says, if you are afraid of competition, you know, tell up-and-coming artists that they can't do something that might help them. And that's a good point. Because, and then when I saw those comments, when she read those to me, I kind of felt like that they, you know, those two people were kind of stroking each other's egos, you know, like, you know, I'm awesome. Yeah, I'm awesome too, you know, and that may not have been the intent, you know, and I don't want to, you know, put words in anybody's mouth, but that was the impression, you know. Yeah. That, you know, oh, I don't use replication, I freehand, you know. I ride my bike with no hands all the time. I don't need a handlebar.
I took my training wheels off.
Yeah. So and Paul says, I painted next door's dog once. Oh. Paul. Oh, Paul. He said his owner went crackers. It cost him a fortune in turps and vet bills. Actually, from time to time, because, and I'll probably do it this Halloween too, but from time to time, you know, the airbrush paint that I use is non-toxic, and from
time... Are you gonna...
What? Tiger stripes on amber was cool.
You didn't... How did I miss that?
It was a long time ago.
You didn't show me.
I'm pretty sure you couldn't have missed it.
I remember a paint being on her, and you told me it was an accident. That you had paint on your hand.
It was an accident.
And you were painting.
She shouldn't have come in the room.
You said you had paint on
Hello, Amber. Took a wrong turn into my studio, did you?
You said that you got paint on your hands and didn't realize it and petted her.
Well, no, I think that happened too. But
then I must have missed
the tiger stripes was intentional. Xena could be a zebra.
Oh boy. Well, you're the one who has to give them the bath.
No, it comes off. It doesn't last, obviously. The amount of shedding they do, and then it's not like it's heat set. I'm not gonna.
Don't heat set the dogs.
I'm not gonna heat gun the dogs, or blow dry them to heat set the acrylic on their fur.
Heat set the dogs.
It lasts for like a day or two, and then it comes off.
I do remember you didn't put it in any area that they would lick, they could reach.
It was on her back, and a little on her face.
I don't want anybody to think we don't take care of our dogs.
No, we love our doggies.
We do.
Oh, Eve says do it with food coloring. That's a good idea, Eve.
So anyway, I just wanted to... I knew I could type something, and it would have been long, but when you can't read intent in somebody's words and hear how it was said, it can come off wrong, and I wasn't interested in starting a fight. So...
May says scary to work for royalty. True that. Actually, I kind of did a couple times.
When?
Well, in the army,
Oh.
when people find out you're an artist, then all of a sudden you get roped into painting things. I had to paint a big barrier wall in Iraq for a general, I'm sorry, she was a full bird colonel, but yeah, she was a full bird colonel, but her command sergeant major was the one who was managing the process, and he was very demanding. He was nice, but he was very demanding, and he's like, I remember him coming out one time, we were painting because it had people on it, and he looked up and he's like, hey, you're painting me there, right?
Oh, so he wanted to be on the wall.
Right. And I was like, well, it's not really anybody, Sergeant Major. And he's like, you're painting me, right? And you're going to make me look awesome, right? Yes, Sergeant Major, it's you. And you're going to look awesome.
Now, was he
That's what I thought.
joking, or?
I think partially and partially not.
Did you put him in there?
Huh? Thankfully, they were shadow outlines, so...
So he was joking then.
I think he was mostly joking, yes.
Unless he wanted his rank.
But when a sergeant major jokes, you
don't
can't
laugh.
No, you can't. It's not like yours, buddy. You can't. Sergeant major jokes, you still have to take it serious. But
let's see here. I'm not liking this basswood. It is not burning as smooth as what I'm used to. I think it's the brand.
well, you're kind of stuck with it.
I am, and I'm trying to work with it. I think it's the brand. So I do know that the Walnut Hollow basswood, I know that is better. But I sanded the hell out of this thing for good 15-20 minutes, and it should be smooth, and it's not.
We got a bunch of comments. Let me try and get through them here real quick before we lose them. Grace says people tend to forget how they learn something once at a higher skill level. I agree with that.
Yeah, but this wasn't a higher skill level.
Oh.
This was...
You think they just thought they were?
No, I think they were just proud of themselves for doing freehand, which is fine. Again, nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
But I think maybe they were a little more self-conscious about their piece, and so they had to find a way to make themselves feel better.
I do not have a channel. Maybe eventually, but I don't have a channel.
I've been trying to get him to. You guys help.
Michael Ann says, you did good, Val. It's no use wasting your good energy on people like that.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, I wasn't worried about changing their minds. I didn't care about that. If they want to believe that way, there's There's nothing you can do about it. I'm just worried about those who are new, who might think this person has been burning for longer and has more experience and thinks that's the only way it can be done. You do art the way you want to do art.
Tiggy Tweet has joined chat.
Hey, Tiggy.
And asks, if you burn something wrong, is there any way to repair it?
I have a whole video on that. There's several ways you can repair it. I could take sandpaper to this area and sand it away. That's only going to really take the first layer, and I have to worry about any surrounding lines or burning. So if you can avoid that, it's best to. Let me see if I can do this with a hot pin. Here we go. An X-Acto knife, you can, let's see here, let me find an area. Preferably on screen.
Oh, your pin's in your hand.
It's in my hand, it's still hot. You can scratch out the area with the X-Acto knife. If that's a small area, it's fine. And you can also use flat chisels. I saw somebody, another younger pyrographer who has a channel, use a V-gouge.
Would you just?
I did not throw it. The cord did that, not me. Using a V-gouge to gouge out and cut out the burn, if it's a deep burn, but then you have this, I don't suggest that. Take it slow, start with a lighter burn, and build it up while paying attention to your reference photo is the best way to keep from having to fix anything. And I'm just as guilty as anybody else of not paying as close of attention as I should have. Which way are we at? Oh, I'm on that end. Okay. Not paying attention as much as I should. You can also hide your mistake, and that is the number one thing I do. I always try to do first is if I can hide it, blend it out, put something over it, that's what I'm going to do.
It always reminds me of like tattooing.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the same techniques. Right. Although I am not a tattooist, I want to be clear. I don't know anything about that. I don't even have a tattoo.
You don't even have one. Let's see.
Grace asks, are you going to burn the hell out of it too? I think that she's referencing the torch.
Oh, no torch this time. Not this time.
And Paul has noticed, he says, it doesn't seem as smooth as the stuff you normally use.
Yeah, it's not. I'm actually disappointed. I thought this was... I didn't pay attention to the label, and I thought it was walnut hollow, and it is not. And I can tell the difference.
May says, I think the most important thing in art is just doing it, whether or not it turns out well. So it's frustrating when people make any kind of negative or discouraging comments. And Eve says, I agree, May. Paul says, May, you're so right.
Yeah.
And Eve says, or you can torch it, Val.
I put the torch away.
Yeah. May.
Jason doesn't even know where it's at.
And I don't. No marshmallows for me.
Oh, you didn't even bring them.
I know. I didn't think we were doing that today.
No. So I can use right here. If you want me to.
Oh, okay. No, Grace says that the burn the hell. She said no. She was referring to you saying that she sanded the hell out of it. Now you're gonna burn the hell out of it.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm just gonna do it all.
The chat's pretty deep right now. There's some pretty philosophical stuff about art.
Well, that's why I wanted to bring that up, because I'm hoping I have a lot of new people watching and trying to learn, and I don't want them to give up.
Mm-mm.
I want them to try, and I want them to make mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes. Even though I get frustrated, it's still okay. I learned a lot with the sunflower, and I made a lot of mistakes.
I think that the most insecure artists that I've ever met are the ones that don't claim their mistakes. The ones that, are obsessed with being perfect at the first go. And I've run into them in university, where, you have an artist and they'll be like, somebody points something out and they're like, oh, no, that was intentional. They're so scared to make a mistake, but being an artist, you have to. And I mentioned this on the stream before, but, they looked at the underneath Mona Lisa, and there's a couple other layers underneath that they were able to image, and it's different versions of the Mona Lisa, and there's a lot of hypotheses of who is this other woman, and who is this, and because she looks similar to Mona Lisa but she's different, and to which I say, and I'm not alone in this because that's another hypothesis as well, is that the earlier versions were also Mona Lisa. He just wasn't happy with them, and so he repainted. Thus even the masters make mistakes, so
We all make mistakes.
yep.
There's no such thing as a perfect piece of art.
Yeah. Well, Michael Ann says our community should be uplifting and helpful as artists.
Yes.
Yep, I agree.
Which is another reason why I didn't comment, because it was just very, very frustrating. Let's see here. Where am I going to go?
Now, you may have already said this, but are you going to address that in video form?
Yes.
Like new artists,
Yes.
don't be afraid to make mistakes, that kind of thing.
Oh, I'm going to have this whole discussion, and probably... I have so many video ideas.
Well, that's good.
Let's see here. And normally, the transfer paper one of the transfer papers I use, and this is a darker one, but I did it so you guys could see it on camera, is... It's going to be backwards. This bugs me.
It's Mona Lisa.
Yes, it's Mona Lisa graphite paper in black. And normally on basswood, it erases very easily, but it is not erasing very easily on this one.
Chad didn't see Mona Lisa. They saw Esel Anam.
SLL. Okay. Well, how's that?
What?
A picture of her.
Yes.
There we go. So I am noticing that the graphite is not erasing the way it should. And I'm not happy with that. Let's see here. Where do I want to go?
I was just going to ask you that.
I want to... I'm going over to the Nibs burner shader.
And why are you doing that?
Because it's a smaller shader. This is one of the old shaders. It's a smaller shader versus the Burnmaster. So I can get into smaller areas. And I need to see how well this pen is working now.
That's an interesting comment. Not really a comment, but there is, it is interesting. Tiggy Tweet made a comment about the only way that they really learned their style of art was through mistakes, and I always find that to be an interesting question of style. What's your style?
I don't even have a style that I know of.
But that's the thing, that style is simply a reflection of your outcome of your work. That is your style. And some people will say, they'll speak to different kinds of or schools of thought, cubism or abstract or whatever, to kind of put a label on it, but none of that really matters. What you're end up being comfortable with and how your work comes out every time is your style at the moment, because your style is also ever evolving, as you learn more. So
very true. I don't even worry about a style. I don't know what you would call mine.
I would call it awesome.
Oh.
Awesomeness.
No. No. When I first started back into art, I did worry about that. Then after a while, it didn't enter my mind anymore. Let's see here. This one's at 3.5. Let's see what it does. I don't think your style needs to have a label. I think if somebody looks at it and says, hey, that's so-and-so's art, that should be enough. Because that means people recognize it.
So, Paul says androids. They were all androids and incapable of making mistakes, and in the end they were taken back to the planet Zargle Bargle Switch, and their coffins were full of Brussels sprouts.
What is in your tea tonight?
Paul, I get you. I get you, man. I understand everything he said.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad somebody does.
People are calling out where they're from in chat. Michael Ann's in Northwest Oregon. Did I know that?
I think it was mentioned a while back.
I was born in Oregon.
You were?
Yeah. I have relatives in Oregon.
Northwest
Oregon, actually. So.
I thought you were hatched.
Yeah. Colton. It's the same if you're from Colton.
But you weren't born in Colton.
No, Silverton. That was at the time the hospital that was closest to there.
Oh.
Yeah, there's no hospital in Colton.
That's true.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm just not getting the even burn that I'd like. I'd say I did started too dark on the bottom part of the book, which is why I'm having a harder time trying to even things out. I should have started lighter. Because now I need to try to even it out. And this is not a polished tip, so it's not running very smooth across the board. It doesn't have, ooh, that is hot. Ow.
You okay?
FDFF. That is, feel how hot that connection is.
You're saying ow.
Feel the connect up top, the metal.
You're not supposed to touch the metal.
It bumped my hand.
That's pretty warm.
This part, the connector should not be hot.
Is that the pen that they just fixed?
I'm not happy with Newsbrower.
Maybe that's a discussion for another day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm still trying to figure out how to
Gotcha.
work with that. So we're going to go back to the optimum. Actually, what do I have on? Oh, I have a smaller. This one's polished. I have a smaller spin shader on the razor tip. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm getting caught in the grain, and because it's circular, it's really pulling my pen. It's slowing me down.
So would you say that you're from here?
Who, me?
Yeah, or are you?
I've spent my adult life here in Arizona.
Yeah, but I spent most of my childhood in Alaska, and then, but now, I'm claiming here. I mean, I've lived other places, but.
I am not happy with this board. I should have gone with watercolor paper.
Well, luckily there's nobody who would say, like, I told you so, or something like that.
And who would that be?
I have no idea.
I know who you're talking about. Alright, this is the razor tip. This is their fixed tip pen.
Oh, Tiggy Tweets from Finland.
Ooh, cool.
Oh, and Michelan's originally from Grants Pass.
Which is where in Oregon? Do you know?
What?
Do you know where that is in Oregon?
Not without a map.
Oh. Well, if I had a map, I could find it.
See, of course you could.
You get lost in an empty parking lot.
On roads.
Which is where you drive.
This is a sore subject.
Aww.
I was a scout. I navigate from the air. I can do that well. Just highway instructions. They confuse me. Who goes around in a circle to go a different direction? That's what overpasses and freeway exchanges do. And then they're like, go to this town. And it's like, okay, I'll follow this town at the sign. And then, no, it's not the town. That's not the town that you're going to. It's some other town. I don't want to talk about it.
I guess not. Oh, I'm having to keep bumping this up. I am now set on 5.
Mm.
There we go.
So now we're in Flagstaff.
Yes. This is home.
Yep.
Man, I spent I was born in Colorado and spent most of my 12 years of my childhood in Dallas. So, I mean, I spent all of my adult life, except for less than a year, in Arizona. So, I guess it depends on what's politically going on as to whether or not I claim it. I don't know how well you guys can see. Let me see if I
can see pretty good. I'm watching your.
Here's the texture I'm getting.
Oh, I'm seeing it.
I'm not happy with it.
No? Well, you know what? Just run with it.
Yeah.
Because...
I mean, it's not as perfectly smooth book, so that can be okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It has a little texture to it, I think.
Yeah. And we are going to put texture in the lighter areas so that... Do we not have Andrew today?
I've not seen Andrew.
Oh, I hope he's okay. Even his family has gotten used to him coming to the lives, and they remind him that is going on.
Oh.
I know, I thought that was so cool.
That's cool. Yeah, Eve says that the texture's kind of mottled, but I like that because the faux leather on the book is also kind of mottled.
Yeah. But I'm also trying to get my darker lines burned in, or blended in, like if I did graphite. I did have somebody ask last week, excuse me, and it was a good question, and the razor tip right here is really showing it.
What's that?
The longer the tip makes contact with your base, whether it's watercolor paper, wood, bone, leather, the base material is drawing out the heat from the tip, and you lose, if you notice, it looks like my tip is cooling, because I guess technically it is, but if I lift it up...
Trouble connecting to the internet.
Quiet, you!
I forgot to mute her. Again. There we go. And now that I've had my tip off for 30 seconds, which you don't normally need to do it that long, the heat is back. It does not take very long, a couple of seconds. In fact, maybe we should time it, because I've never timed it. And each pen and each burner is going to be different on what they call heat recovery time. So if I can get these edges to burn smoothly into the center, I think it'll be okay. Yeah. I am liking the texture.
It looks good, I think.
But I don't like the line. If you notice, I try to start at a darker spot and quickly move down because I know when I touch down it's going to be hotter. So here we go. Actually, I'm not going to time it yet. And of course the tip will cool off depending on how quickly you're moving it and how thick the tip itself is. This is a pretty thin tip, and so it's going to lose the heat quicker, but it's also going to recover quicker. So I just wanted to address that. I'm going to make a video on that as well, because my new friend was a little concerned with his burner because he was losing heat. And that is a very understandable, hey, what's going on? I've got it set here, but it's not burning that. All burners do it. All professional variable tip burners do it. And the very simple solution is just to raise your pen and then let it recover that heat and start burning again.
So, did you just make a comment about burning on bone?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, that explains the comment.
Why?
Because Michael Ann says you can burn on bone.
You can burn on bone.
That's
canvas,
badass.
Canvas. I'm going to be burning on all of it at some point. When you burn on bone, it smells like a dental office. Same with if you're cutting it. See, if you have an aversion to the dentist office, bone may not be a choice base for you.
Ah.
Yeah, it is frustrating when you expect your wood to work with you one way, and it doesn't. That blended, but again, for the sketchbook, for the fake leather, it is okay to have it uneven.
Yeah.
Because I would have liked a smoother burn, and then I could go back in. Maybe this will save some time, because obviously I'm not going to get this done in the live.
No, we're already at an hour.
Aww. It's very frustrating for me, because I really want to finish a piece for you guys, but it's just, it's not doable. I was just going to do an apple. Maybe I should. Because we haven't even started on the glass.
It's not a problem, but one of the characteristics of burning is that it's patience. You need patience, and because it takes time to do everything. You know,
Yeah.
There is no, unless you're using a torch, there is no
Which is maybe why they were
instant
yelling for the torch, because they want me to speed up.
No, I don't think it's that at all. I think the chat just wants to see the torch. We'll just post a video at some point of you, the flamethrower, just burning different things.
That might make one feel better.
It's art.
Oh, there was something else I wanted to talk about in this live. Well, a lot of YouTubers have a name for the people in their community who watch all the time. Like Steve from Minder Watercolor, he calls his subscribers Minders.
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 Mind of watercolor.
Yeah, we're missing him today. Anyway, I was talking to Eve last week because I really wanted a name, and I'm not quite sure a burner sounds, well, that could be taken in so many different ways.
There's not very many good
examples.
Fire-related nicknames that would be positive.
Yeah, I know. Well, Eve came up with Crispies.
Crispies.
What does everybody think of that? If you're not in live,
Crispies.
yeah, Crispies. Leave it down in the chat. Or in the
Or if you have a better
comments.
idea.
Yeah, if you got it. I'm open to what you want to be called. See, now this is burning differently because this is a different part of the wood. And so it's taking the burn differently.
Dorothy says she sees some burn on small pieces of wood for earrings. Where do you find that wood?
Some people would, depending on the wood, may get it from their front yard. It's a branch that they cut down or that they slice into rounds and ovals.
Oh, okay.
So it's just a cross section of branches.
Meme says, watching Val work makes me feel like embracing detail more, so I enjoy the more relaxed pace.
Oh, good.
So see? I know you want to get done with the whole piece.
Well, I did. I even made this smaller so that I had a better chance. We didn't even start on glass.
No.
Okay, we might have to make this a couple of week live subject. That way we can focus on different areas. Okay. So, and actually you have the sketchbook. It's up top above your head.
Right.
I just want to show.
It's on my head.
Above your head.
Oh.
Now the sketchbook was not
Over
completely straight on the surface, so
What are you
that's
saying?
okay.
What are you saying about it?
And if
Sketchbook
you
can
notice,
be however that it wants to be.
I know.
Doesn't need to be straight.
Let's back out a little bit. I just want to show maybe that there is texture. There we go. There it is.
Yeah.
So so it's better to not try to burn it completely smooth because the book is not smooth. Now glass is a different story, and we will focus directly on glass. But what I'll do is how the binding of the book has texture where it's lighter right here. I'm going to have it look the same way. That way it looks like light is bouncing off of the higher areas.
Okay. Well, Michael Ann says it's okay, Val. It's just relaxing watching you.
Good. I know some people like sped up videos, and I will speed this one up for those who...
And Grace says a couple of sessions sounds good.
Thank you. I appreciate it, guys. I really do try to...
But I think you cannot rush art, because if you do, like you're almost always going to end up with something that you're not happy with.
Well, that's true, and I mess up all the time. In fact, I decided last week after I worked on the bison some more that maybe I shouldn't do like pieces that I want in specific shows on lives because it's hard to talk and burn at the same time, and I make more mistakes.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with making mistakes, but when it's something simple that I should have already resolved.
If it's preventable.
Yeah, exactly. These were just mistakes of me not paying attention.
Eve says, it brings us back every week. I love mini sessions.
Thank you. And that's what we shall do. Next week, whether the book is done or not, I will... What I'll do is I'll try to have a video this weekend of me just finishing the book.
Okay.
Nothing else, just the book, and get that posted before next week's live.
Okay.
And then next week we will focus on the glass.
That should be a little bit easier, right?
Well, with the way this wood's working with me, I actually think it might be a little harder.
Oh, because you need a smooth texture, huh?
Yep. I think I'm
Or
going to
texture.
Or no texture. I think I'm going to be fighting with it more. But I think that's good for everybody else to see.
Michael Ann says, I'd rather see mini sessions for one piece than a 4-hour video.
Yeah, I'm not going to do a 4-hour video.
Thank you.
Let's see here. So right now, I did go to dark at the bottom to start off with. So I'm just trying. Remember, you can always darken, so it's better to start off light.
Mm.
You'll have less frustration, and it gives you more room to smooth out something, because you can only go so dark.
Yeah.
You know?
Almost better to develop those values than to rush into them.
So I'm trying, I don't know how well, I'm trying to blend. I have some darker areas that I wasn't paying attention to. And so now I'm trying to blend those out. Kind of like you would in graphite, in that I'm pulling it out, but I can't smear it with my finger. Oh, that was warm. Okay, don't do that.
Ken Paul says, hey, let's do a 48-hour burn-a-thon.
Oh
Hey, let's not.
Yeah, let's don't. Just say we did. I couldn't do that. My hand. I already had to sleep with a hand brace.
Yeah. Well, apparently Tiggy does not have time for art. Two jobs. Or no, 2 schools and a job.
Oh.
But you know, somebody told me something, and I don't follow this advice, but really, he was is a really good artist. I haven't spoken with him in a long time, and I asked him what his secret was, and he said, do art every day, even if it's only for a little bit. Do it every day.
Yeah.
And that is probably some of the best advice and most recurring advice I hear, you know, and I should follow that, but I don't.
Well, if possible, if you're having to, ride a train or a bus to go to work, to go to school, if you just bring a sketchbook and a pencil.
Yeah. I mean, that's the basic form. I mean, it's, and I carry a sketchbook with me every day. And, sometimes I make good art and sometimes it's just doodles. But I'm doing something.
Are art. Yeah, I started off too dark. I was going to say something else. One of the benefits with burning is you can just leave everything set up. You don't have to, there's no cleanup. Not really.
No drying.
No drying until you seal.
No spilling.
No spilling.
Of course, fire and electrocution are hazards, but
if you're careful, it's fine. If you know where your pen tip is at all times, and remember to turn your machine off, which I've only left one burner on one time. That was not in this studio, in the other one.
Michael Ann's asking, how do you get out of an art funk? I haven't painted in over a month. I'm right there with you. And I've got work to do, too. I have art that needs to be done.
Well, is it just that you don't feel like painting, or are you blocked on what to paint? Sometimes changing mediums can help.
That is exactly what Grace just said. She said switch up the medium.
Yeah. Put together a still life. This, I just grabbed things from around the house and put them together. Granted, it took me 2 hours to find a picture that you were happy with.
Yeah. Tiggy says they have a small sketchbook and a pen every day, so
there you go.
They have the possibility and they will try. Good deal.
And then when you do have more time, you can develop those little sketches.
May says, I set a 10-minute timer and clean for 10 minutes and set it again and paint for 10 minutes.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That means I wouldn't have an excuse not to clean anymore. I'm sorry. One pen.
I could follow that same advice.
We're both good. I wish the dogs knew how to clean up after themselves.
And put mops on their paws. But
I'm tempted.
I just think that we'd end up with muddy mops.
Yes.
Because they go out in the yard and stomp around.
Now this area right here on the book, it's hard to see in some of the photos. I think I
was wondering about that. Is it a shadow?
There's different shadows on the book.
Oh.
Let's see how well I can get it to. I tried to lighten up the photo so that you could see not everything is dark on the book. So hopefully that helps. I tried to post a lighter reference photo for people to download. There we go. And you can tell the difference in the burn color with the different areas of the grain. So, let's see here. Now this is going to be a lighter area. This is a lighter area. There's two different darks and lights in here. This is darker, so I'll go ahead and put this in.
Tiggy says one guy that he follows bought a 300-pound pen, or euro pen, sorry. So he has an excuse to use it and feel like he has to use it. He writes at least one page of something every day. That's kind of the same principle as my sketchbook.
Yeah, your sketchbooks aren't cheap.
Yeah, because I have leather-bound sketchbooks that are
You're picky on
engraved, and some of them have stones set in them and stuff. And I always feel inspired to do my best work in them.
Is that why you get them?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I like the way they look.
That's what I thought.
I call them my pretentious sketchbooks because they look really pretentious.
No, they don't. I think they look artsy in themselves. Let's see here.
Although I have been using my smaller one to take class notes in. But it has a lot of pages, so it's going to be interesting.
You can do it in between your notes.
It'll be like a Da Vinci's Codex of random stuff.
The grandkids will be looking at it, wondering what you were trying to tell them.
Yeah.
Let's see here. This area is darker. The light, the way I had it set up, was hitting sideways this way. So, let's see here.
Michael Ann says, I thought I would try cleaning. Maybe it would spark something, but I just ended up hurting my back.
Aww.
I know.
Oh, did Michael Ann ever say if it's because she doesn't have any ideas, or is just not feeling the actual need to burn or paint?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because I think still lifes, or just a picture of a leaf. If it's a matter of not knowing what to burn or paint, I forget she's not burning. I'm trying very hard not to outline, because with outlining, it's the same as the problem I'm having down at the bottom. It's harder to blend.
Well, what's interesting is that because now you completed that bottom line. Initially, it didn't look like it was as straight, but now that you've completed it, it evened itself out. So.
Oh, it's not completely done.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, and that's the case with a lot of art. Sometimes a detail won't look right until the rest of the surrounding things are filled in.
Yeah, I still need to pull it down a little bit to about from like here to here. Looking at it needs to come down a little bit. But I'll come back to that. I'm not focusing on that right now. Now I know under here is a dark line from where the box is sitting. And just tapping and pulling down.
I got distracted again looking at.
Am I off?
No, you're not off. I was just you're tapping and pulling down. I'm watching what you're doing on the broadcast. I'm like, it doesn't look like tapping and pulling down.
Let's see here. Now I'll put some of those lines in. I bounce around all over the place.
May says, well, she says it's a stupid idea. There's no stupid ideas, May. But maybe we could be caramels instead of crispies. That way
Caramels?
it sounds like we're less like we were burnt out and more like we were improved by the fire. Although this isn't really cooking. Or is it?
Well,
May hasn't seen our torch streams.
I'm guessing not. We have had a bit of a cooking few episodes.
Yeah, Eve's on board. She says we could be the marshmallows.
The marshmallows. Whatever.
Also made better by fire. Or toasties, like toasting marshmallows.
Toasties. Well, caramel could be because of one of the shades of brown you get from burning, as well as because I'm guessing people are hungry.
Toasties is cute. It's fine.
Toasties is cute.
Toasties. Maybe.
Who came up with toasties?
That would be Grace.
Toasties, crispies, caramels. I might just put a poll up on the video, put a poll card and see if anybody answers.
Well, people are already saying toasties are good.
Toasties?
Paul hasn't weighed in though, so.
Oh goodness. Paul could come up with quite a few interesting.
Actually,
did he?
No, that's Eve. Somebody asked, "What's a crispy?" Eve says, "It's just something burnt to a crisp." And toasts are delicious.
Now remember, it's not all black, and that's what's going to make the difference. Is if you don't burn this all black, it will look more realistic. And I mean, if you wanted to do this in all silhouette, you could, and then everything would be black. But if you're trying to burn along, there has to be some.
I can see Chat in leather jackets with toasties on the back, like doing the thing from West Side Story.
There, Michael Ann, you have an idea to what to paint. Paint some toasties. Whatever those are.
Toasters.
I'm trying to use more of the tip so that I can get a straighter burn. This pen is also not polished, and you can really feel.
Is it dragging?
Yeah, it drags.
Oh. You wouldn't think that something so minute would make such a difference, but it really is.
Some people may not feel it, but it's particular and sensitive in sight, or not sight, but smelling things and hearing things. I'm not surprised I could feel this.
Grace says, "I'm not gonna lie, when you said crispy, I thought of Rice Krispies and Krispy Kreme." Eve says, "Both delicious as well. We're not getting out of this without being hungry, huh?"
I guess not. Okay. So I'll keep building.
Are we gonna have to integrate a snack time into the end of the burning? Like, and now it's time to eat a sandwich.
You didn't bring stuff in to eat this time.
Oh yeah, I did.
Oh. We just didn't hear it.
It was, yes.
Aha.
Tiggy asks, "You don't push the pen to the wood?"
I'm trying not to push hard. Sometimes I do, so it would be kind of like burnishing and burning at the same time. Your pen should be doing most of the work.
Yeah.
You're just holding it and moving it around. Most of the work should be the pen. Because you can break your tips if you put too much pressure.
Oh. Dorothy says, yes, we need t-shirts with our new name.
Is it time to start merchandising?
I don't know. Tiggy doesn't know what chat's talking about. What
Oh,
are the Crispies? We're talking about a name for the group of people who follow Val.
just a nickname. Something I'd like something positive and make people smile, but applies to burning in some way.
Yeah.
Let's see here. If you come back next week, Tiggy, I think you'll get used to everybody. We have a wonderful crowd of people. I do very much. You guys are the reasons I like doing lives. Is hearing what you guys are up to and your comments, and I really do appreciate you guys. I do need to get the video out for the giveaway. I gotta finish figuring out what else is gonna be in the box. What are you
I'm just saying,
Ah.
I'm agreeing with you.
Aha. Let's see here.
Paul says leather jackets with cut-off sleeves, and we'll have to buy Harleys.
I don't know that my body could handle a Harley. Just sitting here for an hour weighs on me after a while. Let's see here. I'm not even going to get the whole book done. Right here is where the lighter area is, and I can't get my pencil off. Love, over there is an electric eraser.
Mm-hmm.
Can I have that, please? I'm going to try the electric eraser and see if it works better.
Are you throwing stuff?
I'm not throwing. It's all falling down. Thank you. Yeah, it's good.
Is it? It's not my fault.
Not so dirty anymore. Okay. Right here, this line is not wanting... Oh. Okay, this is an eraser only.
I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Well... Let's see here.
It's not dental tools.
Not dental tools or any other things. Okay, that did work a little bit better. Okay, that's good to know. Now my pen is heated up because it hasn't been touching the wood. So I will touch down in a darker area, and then I will start to pull it out. So we know we have texture along here, and we know this is lighter.
Well, Paul says he empathizes with you. It's the same trouble.
Yeah.
I guess Tiggy has tried 5 years ago to just do a little basic wood burning, but they liked it.
Well, by all means, if you decide to pick it up again, I would love to see everybody's work over on the Facebook group.
And Tiggy is asking, do people use any colors for...
Yes.
Yeah, like paint. Actually, you could address that.
Acrylics, watercolors, inks, colored pencils.
If you look at the video...
sunflowers.
If you look at the list, there's several videos that you add color to.
Well, I've only... I need to get Eddie finished, the video part finished. And in the beginner series I have a video playlist of just the sunflower. All the stages it went through.
Yeah, but I was thinking like the gourd too, because the gourd is inked and it's quite colorful. And
a couple of, the Christmas card from last year is colored pencil.
Do you have a video on the bear that you did with watercolor paper?
No, that was before I started the channel.
Oh, because that's got color in it.
No, it doesn't.
No?
No, I never added any color.
The one hanging on the wall.
Oh, that's a pen and ink. That's not a burning. That's not a
burning?
No, that's a study I did.
Oh.
Trying to figure out if I wanted to add color to the burning. You can pull it down if you want to show it. It's on Instagram. It's the bear laying down. That is pen and ink. I did it in brown ink because I was trying to copy the colors of burning so that I had an idea of whether or not I wanted to add color in the first place. So that's why I did it that way. Okay, so in the pattern, when I told the computer to make this a sketch, it's telling me that this line, if I was on camera, is darker. The thicker it is, darker it is. But I don't know, looking at my reference photo, it does not look that way. So I have to decide, I'm going to burn light because I can always darken it up. Then I don't have to worry about it. Alright, but I know this area is darker. Hopefully I won't screen you. And remember, just like with any other art, there's always a hot mess stage. It always looks bad.
It's like every stage of my art.
No. Oh, a lot of times my art looks bad until it finally doesn't.
I was just reading chat. Michael Land says, can you use something like gelatos to color this?
Yep, oil pastels.
Gelatos? I was thinking of that.
They're similar to oil pastel.
I was thinking of Italian ice.
No.
Gelato. Gelato.
It does kind of sound like that, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Now, if you're burning along with this photo, you can make the table or base whatever color you want. I was just using foam core board as the base. It was white so that it also kind of reflected some light up.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Trying to get this even because I want to erase that pencil.
Apparently Mimi has a 3-year-old jumping on her.
Yeah, she's got the fun stage. And our grandbaby, Jessica, she turns 1 next month. 1 year old already. Oh, this is what it looks like so far. I don't know.
That's nice. I like it.
This is darker. I'm just trying to, because right now I can see.
Paul says paint it with ice cream and then just lick it off. And the ice cream would never get to the painting.
To the board.
Yeah.
Especially if
I would
it's
just eat it.
bluebell.
I would just eat it and then think about drawing it.
Coming in with noise. There we go. Try to make that quick. It does leave a mess on the board. I'll have to go back. That's graphite. I have to go back and work with that. See, on camera it looks okay. But me looking at it, it does not look okay.
But see, I think that's you looking at it on camera. I think that's you seeing it objectively, whereas you, as an artist, are connected and you see the things that you don't like when you're looking directly at it. Mm-hmm. Much like when you look at something in a mirror or look at something reversed or upside down.
Maybe. Or it could be because it's not as bright as what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
There we go. Now there's darks and light lines here. That's why I'm kind of skipping those right now because I am going to need to use excuse me, a thinner tip to put those lines in. And in between there is lighter burn. So
I'm just curious, how much longer are you going? We're at 12:30 now.
12:30 now? We started...
12:33, actually.
Just a few more minutes.
Okay.
Do we have any questions while we're finishing up?
I don't know. Ask chat if they have any questions. They're off on a tangent talking about 3-year-olds.
Oh. Well, if you don't have any
Paul
questions...
says
no,
it's looking
okay.
pretty good so far.
Thanks, Paul. I do hope that this gives people... Because the one thing I don't like about the speed burnings is it makes it look like somebody worked really, really quickly.
So not the case.
No.
Maybe you should put an overlay that has like time on it.
I'd have to figure that out.
Actually, I know how to do that now.
Oh, okay. Then you can start editing videos and get them up quicker.
I will.
Yay!
Let's see. Eve really likes how the wood circles are showing through the burn. Grace, no, I'm not going out for ice cream. Actually, I'm probably just going to have some real food. Although ice cream, we have ice cream. I don't know.
Bluebell.
Yeah. Just, I like ice cream sometimes, but no.
I like ice cream when it's cold outside.
Yeah, it's weird.
I know. Well, I'm weird.
And yeah, I love you.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, and fall happens this Friday. Yay, fall.
Can you push me down the stairs?
Not that kind of fall.
Is that a warning?
No.
Fall happens this Friday. Get ready. Wear your helmet.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. No, not that kind.
Mei says, it looks great. I like the texture from the grain.
Thank you. Yeah, I've had less problems with the walnut hollow wood versus this one.
Michael Ann says this is looking very good.
Well,
Sheldine puts a fob watch along the side of the stuff she's working on. That helps. That's interesting.
he does.
That's a good idea. Get a fancy old watch for you to put there. And you could see that as it sped up and it's gradually progressing, you can see the watch hands just spin round and round and round.
They start yelling. Can we stop yet? Now right here, I shouldn't have gone. Well, it'll be okay. Right here along the metal tip is a highlight. And it's like a bright white highlight because it's metal. So I'll leave the pencil there for now. And I'm not going to get any closer because it goes all the way up. Under this box, it's darker than this area, under this part, but not as dark as this area. All the little nuances that help to make a piece look more realistic when I do it right. I should have tested that tip before I put it down. What was this? This is just reflection from the box. I think I can go ahead and take that off. Maybe. Possibly. See, this eraser works awesome, but for whatever reason, on this particular piece of wood, it's just not
Does it look too soft?
No. This one's got... I think I've got it lightened up. It doesn't help. The moment it is a little darker on the graphite side than I normally do, but it shouldn't be this hard to remove. Okay, so now I'm trying to blend it out. Even though I know this part's darker, I'm less likely to mess up. I take my time and start off lighter.
Hmm.
And I can even put more texture on with the ball tip to give it more texture. Let's see here, what's there? This part's lighter. If I can get most of this book in, I feel like I did something.
Is that what you're shooting for?
I'm trying.
Okay.
Without lifting my tip, because then it's going to warm up again. And I'm going to have to move it around until I get back to the shade color I want. See, just by changing directions, it heated up the tip. And, well, not necessarily heated up the tip, but it changed how the tip made contact with the wood and darkened it. So, yeah, I'm going to have to come back. So, that is where we are. I will finish up the book part. That way, that's one video in itself. And then we will move on to the glass next week. And this is a good practice no matter what your skill level is.
Yeah. It's a lot of texture. A lot of... Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. So, if we don't have any more questions, I think we will stop here for today
Okay.
and start back up next week.
Okay.
If you're new here, don't forget to hit the like button. Oh, don't forget to subscribe. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe. That's what I'm supposed to say.
Jester was here.
Hey, Joseph.
That's the first time he commented.
He was lurking.
I guess so.
Okay, let me try that again. If you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And if you like this video, hit the like button. And definitely, if you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments below. And happy burning, guys. Bye.
Bye. Jester says lurking is fun.